Welcome everyone to the Big Bet Gaming channel. This is a thing I'm doing, coming over here from TikTok onto YouTube for some longer form videos that maybe you'll enjoy, maybe you won't. So hopefully this works out and we'll see where it goes. But I wanted to start today by talking about this little guy right here. This is one of the few magazines I actually have left. Back when I was a kid, I used to subscribe to about 3 or 4 magazines, and I kept a lot of the copies of them for a very long time. But as time went on, I kept moving around, and college and things like that, I kind of started throwing them away, and I didn't really keep any magazines. But I kept this one, and this one's a little bit special here. So if you look at it, this is Electronic Gaming Monthly, and this was the limited edition cover. And I remember specifically having to go out and buy this cover because you didn't just get this even if you were a subscriber. But it was to actually celebrate the preview they had in here for Final Fantasy X, and it's from September 2001, and it says display until September 4th. So this is something that I've kept throughout the years. The only actual magazine I have left out of all the ones I used to have. So I thought it'd be fun to pop this open, take a look at what's inside, and see what we can not learn necessarily, but see what we can reminisce about as we go through this old magazine. So let's just start and open it up, and of course the first thing we see here is a PS2 ad for Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. Hugely popular game. I'm not sure if there's a new one coming out anytime soon, but it's been a while. The other thing, Blood Omen, the Legacy of Kain series, which hasn't really had any new games for a very long time. Haven't seen the Xbox logo by itself for a while, but this would be the time that the Xbox came out and the PS2 came out. Doing popular. Letters to the editor here, man. Haven't seen all these things for a while. Let's just check out this page here. Look at this. This is from EB Games, an advertisement obviously. No longer in business. They went out a long time ago, but you can get some ideas of what they used to sell in the stores there. You got your 3 different Game Boy Advance colors right there. Then you have F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Super Mario Advance, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Pokemon Crystal version, and even have an advertisement for the limited edition Pokemon Crystal Game Boy. I believe it was just a Game Boy. No, it was a color. Okay, good. So there you go. All these Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games. And then all these little accessories over here. Look at all this. The Shark Light. You have some battery stuff. You have some link cables. You have all this plug-and-play adapters for the car. There was a ton of companies that made all these Game Boy accessories. And a lot of them really didn't survive. I know I had a couple of these things, and they just didn't survive. The most popular things you had for the Game Boy Advance, though, were the lights, because if you've ever used a Game Boy Advance, you know the screen is horrible. It is really difficult to see. So just some interesting stuff I haven't seen for a while. NCAA football, I think those are done. I haven't seen one of those for a long time. The Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for PlayStation, man. Sign me up, the 3rd edition. Good stuff there. Again, the Legacy of Kain series, Soul Reaver 2. I never actually played it. I think I played a demo for it. It seemed like fun, but that series just completely vanished. Let's see. Here's the letter to the editors. My apologies. I said that earlier, but here they are. An old Target ad, man. I remember this font. This is the peak late 90s font right here. Good stuff. Let's keep going. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 looks like it just got released at this point, or maybe it got brought onto other systems. I don't know what it's for, but I remember buying the Game Boy Advance version and playing it a lot on the way to Spain back when I was in high school. I lost it somewhere on a plane. There's a risque ad for, I believe, shoes. Interesting. Another risky ad for Mad Dash Racing. Was that a popular game? I don't remember anything about this. Crystal Dynamics and Eidos. Man, Eidos just, they published everything back then, didn't they? Twisted Metal Black. Okay, so the Twisted Metal series is another series that seems to be forgotten, just gone forever. I know they were popular for a while, the Car Combat games. There was Twisted Metal series, and there was another one called Vigilante 8. Those were both pretty fun. What's this? This is an advertisement for Extermination for the PlayStation 2. Never heard of it. Dark Cloud. Now that's a series that should probably come back sometime soon. I think, I'm not sure. Have they released them digitally? They really should. Because those games looked like a lot of fun, and I never got to play them because by the time I got a PS2, they weren't really around anymore. Ooh, Tekken. At this point, what Tekken are we on? Tekken 4. So in this magazine, we are on Tekken 4. I think we're way beyond that now. Now look at this here. Just another advertisement at first for Gran Turismo 3, but if you look down here, look. Hollywood Video. the rental place, which has been gone for years now. A coupon, it looks like, for rent one game get one free, and then with these hot new releases for PS2, you can rent them $4.99 for 5 days. So there's a blast from the past. A physical coupon in a magazine. It's actually, I guess it's valid. It would have been valid. There's the barcode right there. It's expired though. 10/1/1. Oops. More Tekken stuff. What else we got here? Klonoa 2. Really underrated games, the Klonoa series. I don't know how popular they were, but Namco's platformer was really, really fun. Sega Sports, NCAA College 2K2. Dreamcast must be still alive at this point, but barely, because they weren't making it for any other system at that point. The 2K series obviously would go on to become a very popular sports series. Oh man, look at all the shovelware here for the for the Game Boy Color. Carmageddon, some racing game, Rocks, Xena Warrior Princess. It's where everyone dumped their games back in the day. They just dumped all their shovelware on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Good stuff. College football. We got some Supercar Street Challenge. Looks like fun. What else we got here? Gallup Racer 2001. I remember that. Did anyone play those games? If you play those games, go ahead and drop a comment if you want, or message me or something. I can't remember anyone who played those games. I don't know how popular they were, but I know it was popular enough where they kept coming out with them. So, another EB Games advertisement here. This is apparently, I'm guessing this magazine came out before the original Xbox launch, because it says coming November 2001. This is about 2 months off from that point. So you had to reserve yours. This looks like a pretty decent launch lineup too. Halo, Oddworld, Munch's Odyssey. This is good stuff here. And look at this. I wonder if this place still exists. Songbird Ocarina. You can buy ocarinas, obviously back post Legend of Zelda 64. No, it was Ocarina of Time. There we go. Yeah, you could buy ocarinas. That was a thing people did. More talking about the Twisted Metal series. Man, it completely vanished. I don't know what happened to it. I'm sure that's out for a reboot soon. Well, sooner or later. Look at the top-selling games of May 2001. The Legend of Zelda Oracle games. I believe there were supposed to be 3 in that series, but they ended up having to cut it back to 2. And I believe you could have the games interact with each other somehow. I don't remember how, but those were supposed to be really good. And even here, most of the Pokemon Silver, Pokemon Stadium 2, Pokemon Gold. So you have how many Pokemon games in the top-selling games there? Notice here, there's 0 Dreamcast games in the top 20 sold games. That's rough, man. That's rough. Dreamcast had a really rough lifespan. N64 games were selling better than Dreamcast games at that point. World Series Baseball 2K2, another 2K game. Looks like another horrible, weird Gundam series. I don't know. The Gundam games never seemed to be good. I think they got better. We got Jurassic Park 3 and all the shovelware that came with it. Park Builder, that actually sounds interesting. Cool Borders 2001, another series from Sony that has seemed to have vanished. I don't think there's been a Cool Borders game for a long, long time when I think about it. 989 Sports used to produce all the sports games. That was an internal Sony studio, I believe. I don't know if they're still around, but back when they had the MLB license. Oh man, all kinds of stuff here. This is previews. So it's an advertisement for Test Drive, and now previews for Ico. I think this is one of the more popular games. I'm pretty sure on the PlayStation 2. It was. I don't remember that much though. I don't play it. I still haven't played it to this day, but I know people really, really love the Ico games. Well, the Ico game. Then there was a couple others, and I believe there was one called Last Guardian that people just didn't like that much. Onimusha 2, Madden NFL 2002, Spy Hunter. Never even heard of that game. Giants Citizen Kabuto. I remember that name, but what was it about? Okay, sure, whatever. We have City Crisis. That looks like fun. Take-Two Games? Huh. Never heard of it. Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Good stuff there. It was probably a port. In fact, it was a port. You can tell from the Dreamcast to the PlayStation 2. Bonus, Devil May Cry, demo included. So Devil May Cry hadn't even been released in the US yet at this point. And speaking of, there you go. There's your advertisement for Devil May Cry, the one that would start the entire series. Um, that guy keeps going to this day. I believe Devil May Cry 5 just came out recently, or pretty recently. Silent Scope 2. Silent Scope is an arcade game, I think, more or less. I think it's better in arcades, but I'm not an expert in Silent Scope. Dragon 2, NASCAR 2002, Eve of Extinction. Just don't remember any of these things. Sayuki Journey to the West. Who's that by? It's by Koei. Koei used to make some interesting games. Not really up my style or anything, but looks like a strategy RPG. Primal, Kakashi Boy 2, never heard of it. RoboCop, a game? Huh. Top Gun. What was with the PS2 and a bunch of like 90s movies? Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. People like the Baldur's Gate series, I think. GameCube stuff. Look at this. Metroid Prime, Wave Race Blue Storm, another series that's just kind of vanished. Luigi's Mansion, that was fun. Dave Mirra Freestyle. That was kind of the end of those games, the Pro Skater games, things like that, when they kind of just kept making the same game with different vehicles. Super Smash Bros. Melee preview. One of the best Smash Bros. In my opinion, at least. One of the most fun, even now. EB Games, man, they bought a lot of ads. The Xbox preview gallery. So there had not been an Xbox release at this point, and it was coming in November, so this is the stuff that you would have been seeing around the time, the lead up to the hype of the release. And Sonic Adventure 2 was still to be released. I'm not sure how many more games after that the Dreamcast had on its release schedule, but I think that was one of the last ones for it. Ooh, previews. Phantasy Star Online version 2. People loved Phantasy Star, man. They loved it. World Series Baseball 2K2. Some interesting Dreamcast games. I have never even heard of Propeller Arena. Airplane, is it racing? Is it fighting? I have no idea. The first flight game for fighting game fans. Okay, you know what? If I can find a copy, maybe we'll do a review on the other channel on that. Alien Front Online, I think I own a copy of that. Tennis 2K2, NFL 2K2, NBA 2K2. Man, they're really inspired titles here. But the 2K series, again, still going in some regard to this day, so I guess it worked out. And even PlayStation 1 previews, man. Spider-Man 2, Enter Electra. The Castlevania, another Castlevania game. I know the Spider-Man games were pretty loved on that system. Advanced Wars, man, that's an old one. Never played that, but people love the Advanced series. Got Diddy Kong Pilot, Konami Crazy Racers, another attempt to cash in on the racing kart games at the time. I think it was pretty popular. There was after Mario Kart, there was Diddy Kong Racing, then there was Crash Team Racing. I think every little mascot series had some kind of racing game. Kart racing game, I should say. Metroid, Mario Kart, Crash Game Boy Advance, Spyro the Dragon. Man, look at all those big names in that system. Klonoa even coming to the Game Boy Advance. Another EB Games advertisement. We got the Gran Turismo Force Wheel. Works with A-Spec. And you can kind of see how games used to cost, and it's kind of all over the place. You know, for the PlayStation 2 version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, it was coming in November, and it was $55. So, you know, I remember at a certain point, new releases, you know, good new releases were $49.99, and the budget games were between $29 and $39.99. But even back then, they were in the $55 range. So I don't know how games managed to stay cheap for so long, because this is pushing, you know, a decade at this point. How old this is. Now we get this endless gigantic preview for Final Fantasy X. The main, obviously, attraction to this cover. Really in-depth preview, by the way, really in-depth. It has the cinematics up here. You have all the characters. You have an idea of how things will start off. This is actually probably the first 5 hours, I want to say, of the game. Maybe not that many, but it goes into pretty good detail about how much stuff you see. Interesting. Very interesting. Good stuff. Looks like some interviews, discussions here. It looks like some of the recurring themes you see in the Final Fantasy series. That's a nice little article. Kind of miss this stuff. But yeah, this goes on for a while. This goes on for a long time. This whole preview here. It shows a fair amount of the game. We even get a Blitzball Basics, which I didn't play. I know people probably enjoyed it, but I did not find anything appealing about Blitzball at all. I didn't want to play a turn-based sports game, so if you enjoyed it, that's great. It was not for me. We've got more of this, huh? Got more of this stuff here. We got music. We got some more combat previews. The sphere grid over here. And this is the explanation for how they made the cover, which was absolutely gorgeous. Huge fan of the cover. Huge fan of the Yoshitaka Amano style. I'm kind of sad that he doesn't really feature as prominently as he used to in the Final Fantasy games. We got a throwback to the Super Nintendo right here. Looks like not a preview, but just a kind of discussion about all the stuff that was good about it. So the greatest games, you got all the redesigns of the Super Nintendo, some of the peripherals that came out. It's kind of nice. It's nice to have this kind of stuff, but I mean, most of this is just a video nowadays on YouTube. So, and look what I'm doing. I'm looking at a magazine in video form. So, I guess that's where we're moving towards. Garage Inc. So this looks like a feature about indie developers, which were far more rare back in that time frame. They are a lot more common now, but back then, indie games were very, very few in between. Expert Gamer, another magazine that came out, the Strategy Guide and Codes magazine, more or less. Let's see, we got Counter-Strike. Yeah, Counter-Strike was a mod, wasn't it? It wasn't actually part of that. It was just a mod. We got some reviews for some Game Boy Advance accessories, and I'm sure some of you look at this page can tell me exactly what you used to have. I think I had the car adapter and the power adapter. I had this light, the worm light. I think I had the speaker thing for a while too. I don't remember that much, but there were so many accessories available for this. I don't really see that as much anymore for the 3DS, but I guess the 3DS is kind of on its way out at this point. We got some reviews here. So the way they used to do things, you got a little paragraph for a lot of from a couple of the editors, and then one big part from the main editor, I guess, that would review that. It's been a long time. I don't even remember these. I remember the names, but I don't know what these guys are up to anymore. If they're up to anything at this point. There's been so many people, and the game magazine and game reporting industry has changed so much, so I have no idea if these guys are still around, but you can kind of see how they used to do things for reviews. Now you get hour-long reviews of every game you want online. All kinds of numerical scores here. We got the visual, sound, and tech ingenuity and replay. Interesting. Let's see what the game of the month was. Ooh. Well, it looks like it was Gran Turismo 3, because Gran Turismo games apparently are just wonderful no matter what. So you get 10, 10, 10. Got some other reviews here. Code Veronica X gets a gold, of course. Flogan Brothers? Flogan Brothers, Episode 1, 1.5, 2.0, 1.5. Oh my gosh. That's horrible. Even Sonic Adventure 2 didn't do that well. I think people were starting to realize that the Sonic Adventure games they looked neat at first, they were impressive at first, but the more you played them, the more you realized they just weren't either that much fun, or they weren't like that well made. So, I don't know, I still enjoy the Sonic Adventure games. I just realize now, years later, they weren't that good. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, gold, of course. Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. Now that's a heck of a, look at that, 7.5, 6.0, and 3.5. I have to read that. I wonder why they chose to go that route. And we got Klonoa, 8.0, 9.0, and 6.5. Really interesting. Usually, I guess there's ever been like a guaranteed consensus on any game review. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, 3rd edition, only got a 2.0. Man, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight. Dragon Warrior 3 only a 7. Disney's Atlantis got a 7. Actually, that's not bad for what used to be those kind of like shovelware Disney games. Ooh, and this is that Psyche Journey West, so it got an 8.0. Looks like people liked it. Tricks of the Trade. Oh man, codes and cheats and Game Shark codes too, I'm sure, are there. Yep, there you go, Game Shark codes. All kinds of fun stuff. Don't really have those anymore. I don't know if there's a lot of codes anymore in games. Most people, it's all DLC now. Pay us for DLC and season passes and extra content. Pay us to cheat, basically. Interesting little discussion here, it looks like. And you can buy some back issues of the magazine if you wanted to. We got Metal Gear Solid 2 is going to be the next month's issue. I can't believe I didn't keep that one. Well, I guess I can believe it. I didn't really care back then. Some more advertisements for their magazines. And last but not least, some controller advertisements. Oh, look at that big Xbox controller. What do they call that? The Duke? I remember these things being terrible. And Pelican accessories, I don't think they're around anymore. This was awful. I remember using that. That was terrible. So, anyways, I guess we'll see how this turns out. And I hope everyone enjoyed this little blast from the past of this old EGM I have lying around. And we'll see how this does. And hopefully we'll catch you in the next one.